We can find this in ourselves, in what we do alone, but also in what we enact together. Our own roots and systems interlace and tangle, grow into and away from one another, and back again in a million subtle moments. End quote. We have several trees at the house on Amy Bell Lake in Wisconsin, where I've lived with Dave and Judy for the last 4 years, and my husband and now 4-year-old daughter. Trees that Dad studied and identified and then went around and tagged with their Latin names, much to the neighbors' delight. Several of these trees are acorn varieties, huge, sturdy, and over 100 years old. If you are familiar with acorn trees, you may know that some of them have cycles where, to use this word again, they drop a motherload of acorns, and they will be everywhere. Well, this has delighted Joy, my daughter, as she collects them and sneaks them into special treasure spots, pockets, and would run them inside the house to her doo-doo as gifts to then learn about the name and how an acorn will become a tree and are food for squirrels and the like. The oak tree and acorns are sacred across many cultures, traditions, and religions, symbolizing might, wisdom, growth, fertility, patience, goals, good luck, a source of sustenance, and to ward off lightning. As a tree, I believe Dad might be an oak. Slow and wise, and sharing nuts of wisdom for all to continue growing. Holding an acorn the other day, I was reminded of the book, The Acorn People. Where are my people in literature, people? Yes. Maggie Goldsmith and her pal partners use this book as a teaching about diversity tool. Perhaps you know that book. It is these small connections that keep coming up for me with Dad. So tiny and yet so expansive. I wasn't going to get into this piece, as I know this is growing long. That's classic Dave though, right? But then last night, I sat down to play with Joy and Ludy's daughter, Dylan, and something poked my butt. And there, in my back pocket, was this acorn that Joy had snuck in my pocket during our walk at Taganic yesterday. Was this Joy's doing or Dad speaking through her in the way that the young channel the elders so seamlessly? Ralph Waldo Emerson wrote, "The purpose of life is not to be happy, it is to be useful, to be honorable, to be compassionate, to have it make some difference, that you have lived and lived well." I think of my father as an example of this difference and living well. For always, he has worked to make it better for his children and students and teachers and the community and their 7 generations to come. It is a tall order to start a day with the thought of how can I make a difference? One that is not done without effort, and one that is sometimes answered imperfectly, and so reworked tomorrow. Through hard work, and though hard work, it is also what I have witnessed as Dad's source of joy, and a calling to share knowledge and bring people together in hope, compassion, and community. I am forever grateful for his example of continuing to do the work that he can. As Daisaku Ikeda notes, small things matter. What may look like a small act of courage is courage nevertheless. The important thing is to be willing to take a step forward. So as you are celebrating, contemplating, and connecting with stories, memories, and lessons from Dave, I encourage you to speak with him through winds, trees, flowing waters, animals, athletics, song, art, and take your step forward. Plant the acorn. for he is thinking about you and believes in your continued growth. Be in peace.